Hello and welcome to day 10 of Roots. Today we will be focusing on combining our movement with our breath. So we want our breath to be what inspires us to move in a certain way. We want our breath to surround each movement that we make. So today's practice is inspired by one of my primary teachers, Jeannie Dillian, and this is very much a Vini Yoga style practice, and that we will move dynamically in and out of a position before we hold that position statically. What I'd like you to consider as we're working with combining our movement with our breath is imagine our breath taking up this much space or this much time. If our breath, our inhalation takes up this much space, we want the movement within the inhalation to be surrounded by the breath, so the movement will take up this much space. And the same goes for the exhalation. We want the exhalation, say, to take up this much space, and the movement within the exhalation to take up this much space. So we can think of this as inhalation begins, movement begins. Movement continues, it ends, but our inhalation continues and ends so that it surrounds the movement. Same thing goes with our exhalation. Exhalation begins, movement begins, movement ends, exhalation ends, so that every movement we make is surrounded by our inhalation and our exhalation. We'll begin this practice on our backs. So come on down to your back. You can have your knees bent, feet flat on the floor, and begin with your hands, one on your chest and one on your belly. And simply begin to tune into your breath and observe the breath as it moves into and out from your lungs. You might notice how when you inhale, your chest and your belly expand, and they lift and press gently into the hands. And you might notice how as you exhale, your chest and your belly gently drop, gently contract. Continue breathing and feeling these sensations and how the breath affects the movement of your body. Now bring your arms to rest gently at the sides of your body, and we'll begin this practice of surrounding our movement with our breath. So we'll just be working with the arms and reaching them up toward the ceiling and then back down by the sides. So with your next inhalation, begin your inhalation, and right after the inhalation begins, sweep the arms up and reach the fingertips toward the ceiling. As the inhalation ends, pause. Exhalation begins and the arms float back down by the sides just before our exhalation is done. We'll do this a couple more times. Inhaling, arms sweep up toward the ceiling. Pause the movement of the arms. Finish the inhalation. Exhaling, arms float back down by the sides and come to rest just before your exhalation finishes. Again, arms sweep up. Exhale, arms float down by the sides. We'll add a little more movement now. With the arms, the hips will lift and lower. So inhaling, arms sweep up, hips lift up. Exhaling, arms float down, hips settle back down to the floor. Continue this movement and this coordination of your breath with the actions of the hips and arms at your own pace. Moving with awareness and coordinating these actions of the hips and arms lifting with the breath as you inhale and with the breath as you exhale. So do one more here, and at the top of your inhalation, pause. Inhale, lift the hips, reach the arms towards the ceiling. Pause here. You might settle the shoulders down the back a little more to create more openness across the sternum and the heart space. Continue breathing, inhaling and exhaling. Drive the heels into the floor, lift the hips. And with your next exhalation, allow yourself to settle back down onto your mat. Draw the knees into the chest and rock yourself gently side to side. Begin to roll yourself or just come up to a seated position and rock over onto hands and knees. Situate yourself so that your knees are directly under your hips, your wrists are directly underneath your shoulders. Spread your fingers and press firmly through the palms away from the floor to create a strong and stable shoulder position. Now we'll play with the movements of the spine, taking it into cat tilt and dog tilt. So with your next exhalation, draw the belly in, tuck the tail under, round through the upper back and tuck the chin toward the chest. Let the top of the head hang down between the hands. With your inhalation, reverse this action. Begin inhaling, reach the tail toward the ceiling, the belly drops down toward the floor, the chest and sternum lift forward, the gaze is up. Exhale, tuck the tail, draw the belly up and in, round the upper back and tuck the chin. And inhaling, reverse this motion. So continue to move through these two positions of cat tilt and dog tilt, and really focusing in on your breath, leading and inspiring each movement. Have each inhalation filled with movement, and each exhalation, the entire length of that exhalation, filled with movement. When you're ready, find yourself in a neutral position on all fours. And we'll come up to stand and try the same action of coordinating the movement with our breath. So find a comfortable stance for mountain pose. Either feet directly under the hips, maybe a little wider, maybe a little more narrow, depending on how you're feeling. Root down through the three corners of both feet. Engage the feet into the floor. Gently drop the tail down between the heels. Engage the belly and relax the shoulders away from the ears, shoulder blades. Draw down the back. Grow tall through the crown of your head. And tune into your breath. With your next inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, float the arms back down along your sides. Now remember, we begin our inhalation, then we begin our movement. We finish our movement, and then we finish the inhalation. Same goes for our exhalation. We are filling each movement and surrounding it with breath. And we'll take this into a lateral bending motion. So inhale, sweep the arms up alongside the ears. As you exhale, float down the right arm and reach through the left fingertips to your right side. Inhale, draw yourself back up through center. Exhale, drop the left arm and reach through the right fingertips to the opposite side, opening up your side body. Inhale to come up through center, and exhale to bend to one side. Continue moving in this way to the rhythm of your own breath, your own pace. Being mindful of the breath and the movement, coordinating them together. And when you've balanced out both sides, we'll meet back. Arms reaching overhead. Exhale, float the arms down by your sides. So hopefully this short practice really gave you a sense of what it means to coordinate your movement with your breath. And of course, we can use our breath in many ways to inform and create the poses that we are taking our body through. But at all times, we want to be able to breathe steady and find deep inhalations, deep exhalations as we move through our asana practice. So please bring this concept, this practice, and this idea into every asana practice that you do.